Good question. I have friends that I can say that about, of course, I do these things and I am these things with my friends. But have you ever said something to yourself and thought, I would never say that to my friend. I would never use those words or that tone of voice. We talk to ourselves in ways that we just wouldn't do to anybody else. So think about the words that go along with your relationship to yourself. Ask yourself that question. What kind of relationship do I have with myself? And if you're kind of stuck like I was, think about relationships with others and see, well, yeah, that fits, but no, that doesn't fit. Could be this, but no, it's not that. And ask yourself, what kind of relationship do I want to develop with myself? Because there's always room when we identify something, I thought, gee, I'm actually not that caring towards myself. Well, okay, it's good. We know that. It's an awareness. Let's see how we can change that. See how we can incorporate caring into our relationship with ourselves. Any of those qualities. So we ask ourselves, so is that a divine relationship? My relationship with myself? And you know what the answer is? It can't be anything else. That all relationships are divine relationships. All of them. There are no exceptions. All relationships are made in heaven. And we're going to talk a little bit later about how big that circle is. Because remember that we all have, and we just said it this morning, I am an individualized expression of God. Every person, every living being in the universe is an individualized expression of God. And that's where we're connected. That's where the divinity lives within us, and that's what makes all of those relationships, the foundation of all those relationships, divine. There are no exceptions. Sometimes we can hear somebody say something and think, well, that didn't sound like, very divine. It didn't sound very spiritual. Because, they're like this, or they, we have these judgments and we label people or we label ourselves. Say, that didn't sound very spiritual. That didn't sound very patient. That didn't sound very loving. That didn't sound very kind. But you know what? There's no exceptions. There's no exceptions. All of those same qualities that God expresses are in each one of us. No exceptions. It doesn't matter how people act or what they say or what they do. That's the great thing about God as a principle. Works all the time, everywhere. So if we all have these same qualities of God as children of God, we inherit them. And there's no, sometimes we can think, well, okay, I guess that person has patience, but I think they have more patience than I do. Not true. And this is a really hard thing. It's a really hard thing for me to grasp. We all have all of God's qualities all the time. I do not have more wisdom than you. You do not have more patience than me. The person who, acts outrageously does not have any less peace than I have. It's all there infinitely all the time. So what would make a divine being, as we all are, speak and act unkindly or meanly or angrily? How come what it is that when we're channels, when we're beautiful, wide open, perfect channels of God in expression, we are all those things. But what happens is our humanness gets in there. And we get scared. Or we have bad experiences in our life that change the way we act and the way that we think, that have an effect on how we are in the world. Or we, all kinds of things get in the way. Our lack, our limitations, our perceptions that what's going on in the outer world is what's real. All of those things get in the way. And if you can look at them as like a screen or a veil or something. So, some of God gets through. Doesn't mean there's any less God in there. It just means it's not really expressing. So when we see someone who acts in a way that's, doesn't really feel a lot like God expressing, we can judge them and we can call them names and we can make them bad and think how much better we are than they are. We can do all those things. It's true. But what I'm trying to do is and Jesus, talk about judgment, about righteous judgment. When we judge others, we are placing ourselves above others. or below, one way or the other. And that's not the truth. That's not the capital T truth about who we are. Now, what I really want to make clear is that we don't need to have relationships and be close to people who misuse us or abuse us. I'm not saying that. If someone is treating you in a way that you don't want to be treated, that is not God expressing, that is hurtful to you, then we remove ourselves from those situations. Or we restrict our relationship with them. Lots of these people we don't even know. So I'm not saying, that we place ourselves in the path of people expressing from less of their God, or however, it's kind of hard to word. But what we can do is we can see the divine in them. Even if we can't see it, we can know that divinity is there. We can surround them with light and love. We can behold the Christ in them. We can pray. We can do all these things. So it's not like there's never a time when, I can't do anything about that person because they are, fill in the blank. Not true. You don't have to be even close to them. Bring them into your prayer time. Bless them. Put the light and the love on them. Marianne Williamson, this quote is in your handout. She says, "We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our fear, our presence automatically liberates others." We have no idea the effect that we have on other people. There's no way we could know. Have you ever overheard a conversation on a bus or in a lineup at the checkout stand and and that said something to you, it sparked something in you, it gave you, put you on a process where you thought of something else. That person doesn't know. They go and pay for the groceries and out the door, and you probably wouldn't even know them if you saw them again. We are surrounded by opportunities to hear God in each other, in our physical world, in nature, in beauty, in the arts. We have no idea the effect that we have on others and the effect that others have on us. I don't know if you ever watched, it was quite a few years ago, there's a movie out called 6 Degrees of Separation. And what it says, and I think it's a fact, but I think it's actually only 3 degrees, is that if you take, for instance, everybody you know, say you know 100 people, and then you take all of those 100 people and you think of all the people that each of those 100 people know. That's your 1st degree. Then you take all of those people and think of all the people they know. That's your 3rd degree. If you keep doing this, in 6 degrees, we all know each other on this whole planet of over 5 billion people. If you go through 6 relationships, 6 connections, you come right back to somebody who's sitting in this room. It's incredible. We are all connected. I remember, no, actually I won't go there. So probably relating to each other is probably one of the most important things we can do in connecting with each other. Because we're connected already. So why not bring our awareness and our consciousness and our divinity to those relationships? Because we do not act in isolation. When I was living in Africa, one of the things that I used to do is go to the market. And I would go to the market and I would buy fruits and vegetables. And when I got there, I was told, you have to bargain. And I thought, but anyway, I lived there for a year. So this is what people do and this is what I did. And I thought, bargaining is building relationships. It's having a conversation. It's getting to know the person that you're buying your things from. And of course, one of the secrets of bargaining is you never let the person think that you really want what you want, right? Think, it's pretty good, I don't know, I could take it or leave it, this is, And so you kind of get this thing that you do when you go into the marketplace and, it's pretty good, kind of look at it, and then you start talking about the price. But one day, and one of my favorite places in the market was the cloth, the fabric area. And one day I walked through that cloth market, And I laid my eyes on this beautiful piece of fabric that was woven with lions and trees and stuff on it. And my face just went, oh. And and she saw me, and I thought, oh, she knows how much I want this piece of fabric. I'm sunk. I went back, I can't remember now. It might have been probably 7 or 10 times, probably every day, every other day for a few weeks. And she'd see me walking by, and she'd say, hi. I'd look at the cloth, I'd say, hi. She'd say, come have some tea. And we'd have some tea, and we'd talk about this, and we'd talk about that. Talk about her family, talk about the crops, talk about the weather. And we'd talk about a little bit about the price, And then I'd say, well, wasn't what I wanted, so well, see you later, and I'd leave. And a few days later, I'd come back to the market. Oh, hi, come have some tea. We're both speaking our second languages, so it was kind of, we had a conversation, but, it was pretty superficial, really. But you know what? It doesn't matter. Now I can see what that was. We were building a relationship. We were taking the time to recognize each other as human beings, and take some time, which is a precious commodity, to be with each other. And buying the fabric was the secondary purpose of our being together. And I think we have this opportunity everywhere you go. When you buy groceries at the grocery store, when you get on the bus and you say, no. I paid more than I wanted, which is probably the good thing. I just couldn't leave Africa without that cloth. We had lots of laughs. So we have that opportunity every moment of the day. Look at, there's however many people sitting here. We're going to have fellowship time in a few minutes. Take the time to connect with each other, because we're already connected. And when we bring our awareness and our consciousness and let that God expression come through us, just think about the heightened, who knows what would happen? We don't know. Who knows what kind of blessings would come out of just a simple conversation with another person. These are all divine relationships as well. They're all divine. Yesterday at Sandy's service, like I said, there's probably about 200 people here. And these people were all connected to Sandy in some way. And there's people from groups that she had sung with. She was a professional home care worker. There were her people that she worked with and some of her clients. Of course, people from this community. And it's because, Sandy did not take a back row seat, right? She was out in life, embracing it, connecting with people, having relationships with people. And it showed yesterday at that service. Jesus told us to let our light shine. Let our light shine. And and please hear me, it's not, the good picture isn't how many people you affect or how many people you have in your life. We're not made to be all like Sandy. That's not what I'm saying, because you need to go out and make 100 friends or something like that, okay? We're an individualized expression of God that's going to look different for every single one of us. But if we just let our light shine wherever we are, then things happen. And I love the word let. This is not work. It's like, okay, well, I better go, go out there and, make sure my light's shining. It's not work. It's not strain. It's not stressful. The word let is just allow. Does a light bulb work? When you click it on, it's just boom, it's there. Just flowing through. That's what we want to be able to do.